Welcome to another power-packed episode of Purpose Today. I'm your host, Dr. April Dobson, and I'm very excited to introduce to the show our very special guest, Janice Coleman. Janice Coleman is a coach and an author, and she's the CEO of JCC Unlimited. You don't want to miss this very special episode of Purpose Today with Dr. April Dobson. We'll be back with our special guest, Janice Coleman of JCC Unlimited. And our show today is brought to you in part by the Purpose Professionals community. The Purpose Professionals community exists to help professionals to grow in their career, to pivot in their career, and to help professionals to purposefully align their business as well as network with like-minded, purposeful professionals. So if you're interested in aligning your profession or your business with your purpose, join the Purpose Professionals community on School. You can scan the QR code. We'll be right back with our special guest, Janice Coleman. Welcome back to Purpose Today, and welcome to our very special guest, Janice Coleman. Welcome, Janice. Thank you for being a guest today.
Well, thank you, April, for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
You're very welcome, and thank you again. So I know that our guests and members of the Purpose Professional community might be wondering more about you. So can you share a little bit about yourself with our viewers and our Purpose Professional community?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just a girl from Philadelphia, born and raised there, and live in New Jersey now. And I found some years ago, actually 26 years ago, that what I loved doing more than the technical side of who Janice Coleman had become was I loved helping people. And so because of that, I became a career coach, a trainer, educator, speaker, and have found joy in watching people grow and blossom and find work that they love, find the space in the world that actually they were built for. So that's just a little bit about Janice.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Janice. Now, you said that you did this because you love helping people. And, you know, you've been a trainer, you've been a coach. Was there something else that you were doing prior to that?
Interesting question. So I have a 12-year background in information technology, believe it or not. And during that time, I was on the application side of the house. So back when I was doing it, there were very few sides of IT. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even called IT at that point. And I was on the application side. And after 12 years, a 12-year stint, I began to feel that there was more that I can do with the skills that I had, aside from help large corporations and CEOs and CFOs to manage all of their technical world. And I started to look outside of that and found my love for actually the heart of people and for training and coaching, because I had been doing that in the IT world, but more along the lines of technology, and finance and insurance. But yet I found the soft skill side of it, the more professional growth side of it, to be more enjoyable. So that's why I find myself here now, 26 years later.
That's good. That's so good. And I really appreciate you sharing that insight. I know a lot of people go from, one career into IT. People are trying to go into the IT career field for whatever reason. But I think one of the things that's really important for people to do is focus on doing what they love. And oftentimes doing what we love, what we're passionate about, aligns, with our purpose. And so I really appreciate you sharing, that background and just sharing that you noticed, what was needed in terms of soft skills. And I think because you're talking about soft skills, I think it's a great segue, to go into talking about soft skills. And, we talked a little bit before, prior to starting the recording, about the Purpose Professionals community and some things that we're doing. We recently launched the Purpose for Success series. And so I know there's a lot of things that we need to do, to help to position us for success. So what do you believe is a key action that professionals can take, to be positioned for success? And we'll get into the soft skills in a little bit, but just some key actions that you think that professionals can take to be positioned for success.
Positioning for success, of course, is based on what's happening in the marketplace, right? But there are some foundational things that I believe that we all can do in order to get ready for that. The main thing that a professional needs to know how to do is to understand themselves. So self-awareness is going to be crucial as we find ourselves in this sped up, quickly changing marketplace. Because there's a gentleman who said in a world that is changing quickly, those who are learning, the learned, will find themselves in a world that no longer exists, while the learning will be able to inherit the earth. So we always have to be learning, but understanding ourselves is the first place for us to start.
And I agree with that. I think we have to learn ourselves. I think we have to know who we are. I think we have to be self-aware. And I think in doing that, I think we have to be aware of what we love, what we're purposed to do, and what skills we have that we can bring to the table. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I think it also highlights how important it is to to have a continual learning process.
Absolutely.
To be lifelong learners. So, I know one of the things that I've just discovered just in my experience and even in, research to back up the personal experiences that I've seen and I've observed is that a lot of professionals are making career pivots. After spending some significant time in one industry, you spent over a decade in IT and an IT-related focus in your career. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people are pivoting after spending, like you, over a decade in the same career. And many professionals are pivoting after the age of 40. And you talked a little bit about soft skills earlier, and I believe they're always important. We can use them professionally and personally. So what are some soft skills that you believe are vital for professionals? And are there any additional considerations or priorities that organizations are putting on soft skills for professionals who might be over 40?
It's interesting that you say that, because I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday regarding soft skills on a resume. And somebody told him that soft skills on a resume does not mean anything. And I had to be gentle with my response to that, because I don't know that to be my experience. As a professional in the career management world, of course, I write resumes all of the time, and soft skills are often never demonstrated on resumes, at least not when I originally get them. But then I find that it softens the information that a person gives to an employer. They need to know that not only can you count the money, count the bag, they need to know that you're not going to hurt anybody in the midst of counting the bag. So soft skills are so important. There are a few that come to mind when we think about what can everybody really focus on. And this means across the entire marketplace. Number one, communication skills. And communication skills are not just about me being able to talk to you, Dr. April Dobson, me being able to talk to you, but also me being able to listen to you and to be able to synergize that information so that we can manage a great professional relationship. I don't need to come to your house for Thanksgiving dinner. You don't need to come to my house for Christmas. However, we do need to be able to get along at work, right? So the communication skills are very important. One of the things that I think people need to understand, when I was growing up, we would always hear, it's not what you say, but how you say it. But what I've learned over the years in my working with professionals from the classroom to the boardroom is that it's not only what you say and how you say it, but how it's being heard. So communications is multifaceted, because I can come to you and say something very innocent and very kindly, but if you've had a challenging morning, or you have an issue with women with a red shirt on, we might have an issue. So it's not just what I'm saying, it's not how I'm saying it, but it's also how it's being heard. And I think that the responsibility of that falls on the person who's actually delivering the message. So we have to become self-aware, and we have to become other people aware, right? About the emotional intelligence, right? So communications is important, an important skill. And then one of the highest rated skills in the marketplace now, statistically proven, going through SHRM, which is Society for Human Resource Management, they say that adaptability is going to be paramount when it comes to what is happening now in our marketplace. So if we don't like change, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't know, because change is the only thing dependable on planet Earth. And if we can't get ourselves in a space of being able to embrace change, or at least move with the change and let the embracing catch up with us, we're really going to have a hard time, because companies need to change at the speed of thought, and they need us to do the same. And if we want to stay employable, which is a whole nother subject, maybe you and I need to talk about that at another time in length.
Yes, absolutely.
But being employable, we need to be adaptable to what may be coming tomorrow, because the marketplace has changed even since you and I got on together. It's already changed. And then the third thing is what you talked about earlier, which is continuous learning. We have to learn. We have to stay abreast of what we can understand better, so that we can be more effective for ourselves if we're business owners, and for our employers if we work for another person, and for the people that we serve, because they deserve our best.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I believe those are all critical soft skills. And I know you talked about earlier that you don't always see soft skills highlighted in the proper manner when you receive resumes from clients. And so do you find, because this is a question, and I want to make sure that we talk about it on record so that whoever watches this can see it.
Right.
Because I've had clients who I've worked with who are so hyper focused on the technical skills and what the requirements are that are being outlined. Do you find in your experience and your observations that organizations are willing to be flexible on some of the technical skills if people have all the right soft skills that they're looking for?
I think you're absolutely right. When a person goes into an interview, they're being interviewed. If they are in the interview, somebody believes that they have some of the technical skills that are needed for that position, because otherwise they wouldn't even spend time with them, right?
Right.
So they're in the interview. Now it is you having to now sell you. Selling is a soft skill.
Yes.
That right there is a soft skill. And a person can have all the credentials from the best of class in higher education, but if they don't have the requisite soft skill to be able to engage, eventually their career is going to bottom out.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So I believe that we have to understand what our soft skills are, what we may be missing, and how we can support that. And we also need to teach that to our younger counterparts and our children and the people that we come in contact with. Because, for instance, one young man that I onboarded as a client, his father has engaged me to help him to find his next job and to build a career path. He's been working and he has a great history of jobs, but now he really wants a career path. And part of my onboarding, I have a questionnaire and I asked him for his soft skills. And even though he has them, he could not articulate them. Wow. Because he didn't even know what a soft skill could be.
Wow. It's interesting that you say that. And I think there's so many things wrapped into that, right? So not having the awareness of what a soft skill could be goes back to the continual learning, right? Why we have to be always positioned, to learn. But then also, once we know what soft skills are, having the self-awareness to know what we possess, which is something that you talked about earlier. But now I want to go into something that we haven't talked a lot about. I kind of mentioned it at the beginning, but you said that his dad asked you, to help him to identify a career path, and that is purpose. You talked about loving something and making a pivot because of what you loved. So how important do you think it is? We've discovered what soft skills are. We know what our soft skills are for those people who can recognize that. Because I think maybe some of the viewers don't, but I think most people who are in the purpose professionals community are at least aware of their soft skills. So now that they know their soft skills, they know what experiences they have. They're able to identify what they love. What do you believe? What's your perspective on the importance of purpose in our profession or our business? And how important is that for people to pursue purpose and passion?
I believe that purpose and passion are so very important for mankind. And as you see people, as you watch society, you realize that people don't have necessarily an understanding of purpose, or at least they have not embraced what might be a purpose for their lives. There are 3 great days of everyone's life. And I know you've heard at least the 2, but I'm going to add the 3rd. The day a person is born, the day the person finds out why they were born, and for me, the day the person decides to do that for which they have been born. And so that middle portion right there, finding out why I have been placed on planet Earth. is so important. We have to realize that as is the natural, so is the spiritual. And there's nothing on this planet that has been created, designed, made, manufactured, and sold that does not have a purpose.
Absolutely.
And the purpose is not an afterthought. It is the first thought.
Absolutely.
I need more light in my room. Oh, so how about a ring light? That'll help you. Why? Because someone needed more light. That's why a ring light was created. Somebody did not create the ring light and then say, what can we use this for?
Right.
Right? So in the same manner, we as humans have been designed with a purpose.
Absolutely.
And if we're here, and if you and I are talking right now, there are wonderful people in your community that are watching, and there'll be many other people who will see our conversation. Right now, there is a reason why you and I are here. We're still in the game, everybody. We're still in the game. So there's a reason why we're here. So once we can grasp what I do well. See, sometimes we get hung up with labeling it. And once we get a label, we feel good, right? We feel better about ourselves. But the struggle is not with the label. I don't think the struggle is with the label. I think the struggle is with the actual thing itself. What am I good at doing? Even if I can't put a label on it, what am I good at doing? How can I perfect that? Or at least make it better today than it was yesterday? And then how can I use that thing in all of who I am and my communication skills, my adaptability, and my growth? How can I make that better today than yesterday and now serve somebody?
Yeah, that's so good. And I think, that what you said is great. What am I good at doing? How can I serve someone? And we got to introduce another part that you talked about earlier. What am I good at doing that I love? Because a lot of people are good at doing something that they absolutely hate, right? I think false success is the enemy of purpose, right?
Yes.
You end up doing something and you're doing it well, but you hate it. But because you're doing it well and you're getting paid well for it, you keep doing it instead of doing what you have the burning desire to do. And I love the example that you used with the ring light, that it wasn't created and then the afterthought of, well, what can we do with this ring light? It was created for a specific purpose. Because someone needed lighting, they could have, everybody needs lighting, right?
Right.
But especially for being on a computer or being on a mobile device and needing to be seen clearly.
Yes.
While they are trying to, be seen, and interact and engage with others on an online, fashion or FaceTime, or whatever the case may be. Right. So, and not to go into it, but I know we were created all with a purpose, like you said. And so it wasn't an afterthought for God when he created us. He created us with the purpose from the very beginning. So I think we have to go to him to know who we are and understand our purpose. So thank you so much.
And I think that we can pick up clues as we move forward. Instead of being stymied here, trying to figure it out, just move forward. And there are many people, as you mentioned, that age of 40, 45, and 50, those are oftentimes big crossroads for people. I have tons of clients at that age who are literally saying, what do I want to do when I grow up? Because they have danced to the tune of what people prepared them for. And that's okay, because sometimes people don't know what they're supposed to do. How are they going to tell you what you're supposed to do? They don't even know what they're supposed to do, right? So eventually you get to that space in life, and oftentimes, unfortunately, it's due to a layoff or some kind of major issue like that. You get to that crossroad, and now you say, what's next? I don't want to do what I've been doing for 5, 10, 15 years. I literally despised it, but it was money.
Yeah.
How can I now take all of who I am, my soft skills, my technical skills, my hard skills? How can I take my education, my experience? How can I take that now and reconfigure it to make it to be what I call the job you love and the job that loves you?
Yes.
How can I do that? And there's this Japanese model, the Ikigai model, where it talks about the meaning of life. And there are 4 aspects of work or of doing that can help us to understand better where it is we fit. And they're sort of like 4 circles. If you can see 4 circles kind of interlocked. I'll use that word, interlocked. So you have the top circle that says what you're good at doing. Then you have another circle that says what you like to do. Then a lower circle that says what the world needs. And then the left-hand circle says what you can get paid for. Now, if you can get all 4 of those to cross section, right in the middle is the Ikigai. It's the meaning of life. It's the sweet spot. Now, I happen to believe with all of my heart, I am right in that middle. Like, I love what I do. Doesn't mean that it's 100% happy all the time. But I love the people I get to work with, the people I get to engage, the life that I get to breathe back into somebody who feels like, oh my God, I am not going to make it. What should I be doing? I don't know where I'm going in my life. With all of that, purpose for me is helping other people find purpose.
Yes. And that's why we connect so well, because it is my desire to inspire and to help guide millions of people into not only discovering, but pursuing their purpose.
Yes.
So if there's something I can say, do, so I believe that's why we just connected so well from the beginning.
And thank you for reaching out to me to be able to share with your community, because I felt that with you. And just your person, who you are, just resonates with me so well.
You're very welcome, and thank you. Thank you so much for that and for saying yes. Now, I know you talked a little bit just now about how you have helped clients, what you help them with. So can you just share some additional insight about JCC Unlimited and how your business helps clients? And if there's viewers who are interested in those services, what steps they would need to take?
Well, this is the first step, them getting to see me and hear me and engage with me. We help people to find the jobs they love and to find the jobs that love them. And that means preparing individuals for job search execution, literally working on resumes, the hard skills of a job search, working on the resume, working on the search strategies, interview strategies, LinkedIn profile negotiations. We do that and have been doing that for 26 years and have amazing results, and people, again, from the classroom to the boardroom, who have found jobs and careers and transitional opportunities that have helped to enhance their life and the life of their family. So it's actually building legacy. And so that is my primary focus. My overarching focus at this juncture in my career is helping people in the midst of their job search to find that peace and that wholeness again as they go through the tactical part, the hard skills, because it's that aspect of a person that if that does not get healed and dealt with, they carry that hurt. They carry the downer of having been told your position is no longer viable. Your position has been eliminated. So that's why I wrote my book. If I could introduce that
that was going to be my next question. Yeah. If you can talk about your book and just give us some insight on it and how viewers can find your book, I think that would be excellent.
Excellent. So the book that I wrote, because I know the heartache, I know the pain, and I've worked through it with people one-on-one over the years. I wrote this book called Trust the Process, which is actually the title of our session today, Trust the Process. And it is a stone. It's not I wrote this ebook while I was, hanging out with my friends. It's a lot of work that I have done to present to the marketplace the support, the companionship that a person needs as they are experiencing the transition of a layoff. And it can be a heart-wrenching situation. How do I get through this? How do I deal with the emotion? How do I deal with the challenge? How do I deal with the ups and downs? How do I deal with the uncertainty, the insecurity, and all of those things? Well, nobody can actually reach inside and help you. But this book is designed to be the companion to walk you through all of the aspects of what you or what anyone as a person in the midst of a transition might feel. And I have had great reviews. One person in particular who is actually a clinical psychologist. And she said, I don't work with people who are in the midst of a layoff, but I'm going to share this with some of my patients. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So the information for this book, you can actually find online. The website is trusttheprocesswithjanice.com. Trusttheprocesswithjanice.com. And you see it here on the lower thirds, and you can get that information. You can look at the book. You can also email me if you have any questions with regard to any aspect of your career. And if you'd like to have a consultation, there will be an email address where you can actually find a convenient time that's available on my schedule so that we can have a preliminary conversation and to see whether or not it's something that I can help you with, and if you like to move forward and work with me.
Thank you so much, Janice. I tell you, this has been such an amazing discussion. I just am so excited that we've had the opportunity to talk. I have your Calendly link scrolling there. I have your contact on the lower thirds that people want to book. They can see the Calendly link. They have the website that they can order your book, Trust the Process. This has just been an amazing time. I so appreciate the time that you've taken to speak with me today, the insight that you've provided for viewers, the insight that you've provided for the Purpose Professional community members. So this has just been a wonderful discussion. So thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. I know you're going to go backstage and we'll be speaking here in just a moment, but thank you again for being a guest. Anything else that you want to add as we close out today's segment?
I would just say for everyone who's watching, whether you are in the beginning of your career, the middle of your career, or if you're staging to refirement. We don't do retirement, we do refirement, because purpose is from here to eternity, right? Whatever stage you're in, understand the season and prepare and operate accordingly, and trust the process. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much again, Janice, and I'll be seeing you shortly backstage. Thank you to all of our, you're welcome. Thank you to all of our viewers and our professional community members. The contact information was in the segment from Janice Coleman of discussion and some amazing insights that she shared. I really appreciate all of you for viewing. This segment today was brought to you by the Purpose Professionals community, and the community exists so that there's an opportunity for professionals and entrepreneurs who are intentional and purposeful about aligning their profession or their business with their purpose. It helps individuals to pivot to pursue their purpose, to grow their career, to develop and to purposely align their business. And it also gives an opportunity for individuals to network with like-minded, purposeful professionals. So you can scan the QR code to join the community. And thank you again for tuning in to another power-packed episode of Purpose Today. I encourage you all to live your purpose today and every day, and encourage you to stay tuned for another power-packed episode. Again, I'm your host, Dr. April Dobson. Thank you again for tuning in with our special guest, Janice Coleman.